Okay, so we've been using standard form to describe our graphs, answer a whole bunch of questions regarding our graphs from the equation. So now what we're trying to do is we're trying to practice doing the same thing but with a different form. So you have this example here and you have all these questions. I may go out of order to answer the questions because this isn't a specific form. So the first thing I would do would be to decide what form it is. As you can see, this is factored. So when I see that it's factored, I know this is called factored form. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and start answering questions. First thing that's very easy on all of them is figuring out if it opens up or down. We have to look at A for that. So here's my A, okay? So since A is 2, I know this one opens up, okay? Then since this one is factored form, it's very simple to find my x-intercepts, okay? So remember our x-intercepts we can find right here. If we set my y to 0, okay? All I have to do is figure out what number will make this piece be 0, what number will make that piece be 0. That's called the zero product property, because if any of these, this is all being multiplied together. 2 times whatever this is times whatever this is. If any piece of this is 0, I know I get 0, which is what I want. So one of my answers is 9. One of my answers is -7. 9 minus 9 is 0. -7 plus 7 is 0. Which means my x-intercepts are 9, 0, -7, 0. That's where it hits the x-axis, okay? Then they're asking us for our vertex. So our vertex here, when you have factored form and you find your x-intercepts, you can find your vertex by just going halfway in between your x-intercepts. So the way we figure that out is by taking our x's and adding them. So we're going to say 9 plus -7. And dividing that by 2 because it's halfway in between. So what's 9 plus -7? It's 2. Divide that by 2, I get 1. That means the x value of the vertex is 1, okay? So that's halfway in between these 2 points. And then in order to find the y, all I have to do is plug it into the equation. So I could say y equals 2 times 1 minus 9 and then 1 plus 7, okay? So this becomes 2. That would be -8, and that would be +8. How many negatives are there? Just 1, so I know I'm going to get a negative answer here, okay? And then I say 8 times 8 is 64, and 64 times 2 is 128. So my vertex is that one I got, which was halfway in between my 2 x-intercepts, and then my y value, -128, okay? And then lastly, they ask us to find the y-intercept. Oh, wait a minute. From this we can find our line of symmetry too. They do ask that. So remember, your line of symmetry is always whatever x was. So my line of symmetry here is x equals 1. So that's easy, okay? Make sure you have that paper out and you're filling in the blanks here, okay? And then we're going to find our y-intercept. So our y-intercept is where x is 0. So very easy. I can just plug in 0 for x. So 0 minus 9. And 0 plus 7, okay? So I'm going to get 2, -9, 0 minus 9 is -9, and 0 plus 7 is 7. And then I'm going to say how many negatives? 1, so I know it's going to be negative. These two make 63, and 63 times 2 is 126. So I know that my y-intercept is going to be 0 for the x, -126. This is the y-intercept, okay? And then again, once you have all those points, you can go ahead and you can use them to graph. So I'm going to rewrite my x-intercepts over here so that we can plot all these points, okay? Please remember that when you're plotting points, if your numbers are pretty big, you might have to go by a different scale than just ones. And all you have to do is write what you're going to go by on the side for me, okay? So I know what you're going by, and then I can figure out if your graph is correct. So I'm going to go ahead and go by 20s, okay? So I have the number 1, -128 for my vertex. So if I'm going by 20s, 1 is like really close to the 0. So 20, 40, 60, excuse me, 80, 100, 120, So this would be 120, and that would be 140, so somewhere in between here. So let's just say about there, okay? Doesn't have to be perfect, you're just doing a sketch here, okay? And then my y-intercept, which was right here, is 0, negative 126, so now we're at 0, and we're just a little bit above this one, so they're very close to each other, okay? And then my x-intercepts are 9, 0, so if I'm going by 20, 10 would be halfway, so if I put it like right there, that would probably work, okay? And then negative 7, 0, so this one would have to be a little bit closer to that one. And then we could take these points that we have and connect the dots. Again, these graphs aren't perfect, they're just little sketches showing that you understand how you could use those points, how to graph them.